Hello，线上的同学大家好，还有来自很多世界各地的同学，今天都跟我们一起上线哦。那我们今天活动有开放，让大家可以截图，然后我们最后也会有一个加码的，之后可以跟卷进一步的线上交流的一个分享，然后最后会有一个心得的回馈。那详细的内容我们会在之后的 email 的信箱跟大家说明。Hi everyone, I'm Ellie from NTU D School. First, I would like to thank the NTU Center for Bilingual Education for support this school in hosting this English event. This is our third time work with Jen, and each time has been a unique experience. We have done a elevator pitch session before, and now we are doing online YouTube. Today, we have invited Jen to share her experience of startup at Stanford. Welcome, Jen.
Hello.
Hello，他在 YouTube 上面，对，现在已经有140个人观看了，这样子，对对对。
Hi, everyone. Oh, so should I get started or? Should I get started? I think you guys should share my screen, right? Hello, everyone. Okay, yeah, okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Yi and National Taiwan University for having me today. Hello, everyone. I know it's lunchtime in Taiwan, and now it's 9:30 p.m. here at Stanford, California. And I'm really excited to spend this hour with you today. The last time I gave a talk was before I left Taiwan, and it was on NTU's campus. I really miss Taiwan, and I hope that next time I can be there in person so we can connect face to face. But today, NTU told me that a lot of people, like 600 people, sign up for this, even though it's in English. That's incredible. Originally, this was going to be WebEx or Google Meet, but because of the capacity, NTU hired the same team that live streamed Jensen Huang's speech. That's an honor. So throughout the talk, feel free to drop your thoughts or questions in the comments below. If I can cover them all during the talk, I'll take a look afterwards. And thank you for spending your time here. Let's get started. I'm Jen, and I graduated from National Taiwan University with a major in linguistics and literatures and a minor in education. I'm currently pursuing an interdisciplinary master in learning design and technology at Stanford. You can scan the QR code to connect with me via email or LinkedIn. And by the way, just in case you didn't notice, I chose a picture of me wearing the NTU D Schools T-shirt that Yi gave me as a gift, and kudos to them. I'll start by sharing why I chose to come to Stanford after several years of working post NTU. My undergrad, National Taiwan University, is like a mini Stanford, but Stanford's main campus is actually 23 times larger than NTU's campus. Beyond just size, there are a lot of differences. But Stanford isn't just different from NTU. It's unique in ways that set it apart from anywhere else. So hopefully everyone today will hear something interesting. During college, I majored in linguistics and English literatures and minored in education, which gave me the opportunity to teach in high schools and TOEFL institutes. Beyond my major, I actively pursued a cross-disciplinary education, taking project-based courses that gave me hands-on experience in business and communication. After graduation, I worked at startups across 3 continents, where I saw firsthand what real business communication looks like. In contrast, Taiwan's approach to English learning so heavily focuses on test taking and grammar skills, but getting a perfect score on TOEIC tests doesn't translate to international communication or business fluency. To address this, I combined my expertise in education and business and founded a corporate training firm serving Fortune 500 companies. Instead of relying on textbook-based ESL instruction, we designed task-based learning that mimicked real-world business interactions, such as negotiations, presentations, and cross-cultural meetings. This project-based learning approach and innovative methodology were unheard of at that time in Taiwan. But without any formal business development or marketing, we quickly gained clients from the largest companies in Taiwan. And this proves that there was a real demand for practical, result-driven training. But while my corporate training was effective, it wasn't scalable. No matter how many companies I worked with, the demand far exceeded what traditional training could provide. There were still countless talented professionals struggling, not because they lacked expertise, but because of language and cultural barriers remained a major obstacle in their careers. This drove me to create something bigger, a scalable, technology-driven solution that makes high-quality, industry-specific, and personalized communication training that is accessible to all. Plus, we are at the beginning of AI, the wave of AI. So that drove me to apply for Stanford. So last year, I got into the only two schools that I applied to, Harvard and Stanford. I chose Stanford, where my program sits at the intersection of learning, design, and technology. Specifically, now my focus is on workforce training and AI. My cohort is a small, highly selective group of 16 students in Stanford's interdisciplinary Masters of Science program. We come from diverse backgrounds. 1/3 are software engineers from companies like Google, LinkedIn, and JP Morgan. 1/3 are designers, and 1/3 have backgrounds in education, like me. One thing I love about Stanford is its a tight-knit community. 70% of Stanford's classes have fewer than 20 students, which means you get to build deep connections and collaborate closely with your peers and professors across different schools. I had a successful and comfortable career in Taiwan at the time, and I was driving real innovation. But the English learning market has become too commercialized and lacked innovation, filled with false marketing, copying, surface level solutions. Now, with the rise of AI, I see the same pattern. A lot of English teachers or trainers, they are teaching how to use ChatGPT, how to type in English with ChatGPT. But few are actually building something meaningful with it. I don't just want to teach people how to use AI. I want to build an AI tool that truly empowers professionals to communicate with confidence in global business settings. I came to Stanford knowing this is the place, but I had no idea what was waiting ahead. So we had this questionnaire before the talk started, but I know that at that time a lot of people haven't joined the meeting yet. So if you have time, you can spend a second to fill out your thoughts of what comes to mind when you think of Stanford. I didn't come to Stanford before I got admitted. In Taiwan, a lot of people would fancy the Ivy League on the East Coast. So when I was in college, I also participated in some events in some Ivy League schools. And I had a speech at Brown University and Harvard when I was in college. But for Stanford, I'd never been here. And I had little impression of what it's going to be like. Okay, so I think Sri can take over and share the results.
Yes. Yes, now every time show the style 的文字语。
Um,
The style 的文字语。
Oh, do you want to start?
Jane，你有看到吗？
我看一下，我那个不是。
Jane，你现在有看到文字云的画面吗？已经切到你了。
I think the first time that I stepped on campus, I just remember being so overwhelmed by how big the campus was.
And there was a huge mix of excitement of exploring new things and meeting new people from so many different backgrounds, but also lots of nerves about imposter syndrome, about being able to fit in. Am I going to socially find my group?
The only path that students are supposed to take is their own. It's easy to be distracted by all the stuff that's going on around you. I ask everyone to take a deep breath and figure out what their goals are, their hopes are, and their dreams are for themselves, and walk that path.
One of the things that I think is really cool about Stanford is that people both are very serious academically, but then also really want to have fun and be lighthearted. I would say over your time at Stanford, you will learn more about each other and from each other, but then really kind of find people who you have a lot of shared interests, experiences, values with, and then you will deepen those relationships.
Everyone has their own special thing, and it might not just be one thing that makes you unique. It might be 2, 3, or 4, and it's okay if you aren't the best in the world at only one thing. It's okay if you're exceptional at many.
Stanford is a place to make your dreams come true. Stanford is a place to thrive, to rediscover yourself and where you're at. Stanford is a place to keep dreaming big and making it big. And Stanford is a place for community, family.
I think it's also okay to just be okay with failure. Putting yourself and your mental health first is also just a really, really important thing.
You want to get things just right. But what you learn over time is there's such a thing as it's good enough. It's good enough to move on to the next thing so that you can cultivate other aspects of flourishing, of your well-being.
You belong here at Stanford University. There's a place for everyone. Keep an open mind, find a point of engagement, and really have fun.
Welcome to Stanford. This is just the beginning of your incredible path. And I'm so excited to see you thriving.
Okay, so from the video, here are some key hashtags. You belong here. It's okay to fail. Be yourself, an adventure mindset. If you watched my NTU talk last year, this message might sound familiar. I actually shared some of these insights in my presentation at NTU last year, where I talk about the interdisciplinary mindset behind taking risks, solving hard problems, and building something meaningful at a global scale. If you haven't seen that talk, you can check it out below. The funny thing is, I had never been to Stanford before getting in. However, the mindset here feels exactly the same. When I arrived, I realized so many of Stanford's value aligned with what I've always believed. No wonder that I chose Stanford. Probably why Stanford chose me. Some people ask me, "Hey, how can I actually get into Stanford? Should I win the Olympics, or should I be someone who's like really cool, or we have to start 3 companies before I actually take my SAT?" Well, here's the thing: a big part of it is being authentic, being true to who you are. At Stanford, we don't brag about being the best university or how good we are. Instead, we talk about how open we are, open to exploring, to failing, to have fun, to figure things out. Stanford is the origin of Silicon Valley, and the numbers prove it. This is the place to start a company. Just take a look at where most unicorn founders are from. Stanford is far ahead of any other university. More unicorn founders come from Stanford than Harvard, MIT, and UC Berkeley combined. The most important decisions you make are where you live and who you marry. This chart shows the total value of private and public $1 billion companies, excluding FANG and Microsoft. And the numbers are staggering. The San Francisco Bay Area isn't just leading, it's dominating. The total value of billion-dollar company here is 7 times higher than the next big ecosystem, New York. Think about that, 7 times. Because the Bay Area isn't just a place, it's an ecosystem. It's where capital, talent, and culture all come together to create a perfect storm for building world-changing companies. And here, funding is more accessible, risk-taking is encouraged, and failure isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's not just about the location, it's more about the culture. It's how we think, how we live, and all the small details that make all the difference. I came to Stanford with a problem to solve, but I had no idea what the journey ahead would look like. I thought I was coming to Stanford to find answers, to figure out the best way to scale my impact, to learn how to start a startup, how to get the tools I needed to solve a problem I had been working on for years. But instead, I found bigger questions. I found myself rethinking everything, not just about how to solve a problem, but how to define it in the first place. I met people who challenged my ideas, pushed me beyond my limits, and opened doors I didn't even know existed. Life here at Stanford is packed. My schedule is crazy with back-to-back meetings and overlapping schedules. In just 10 weeks, I accomplished more than I ever imagined possible for my entire grad school experience. Because the Stanford, we use the quarter system. So each quarter has only 10 weeks. It's different from NTU. NTU has the semester system. Oh, so I'm also physically and mentally exhausted. More than once, I found myself tearing up while biking across Stanford's ever-stunning campus, and I was overwhelmed by uncertainty, relentless stress, and a lingering cough that wouldn't go away for a month, and a heartbreak from losing my grandma without being able to go home. Ironically, class time was my most relaxing time because it was the most structured, predictable part of the day. Outside of class, I was constantly reaching out to professors, my peers, alumni, or other experts just to keep up with the latest research and solve my problems. I was diving into dozens of papers to find ways to integrate AI to my product. I was recruiting teammates, interviewing people, and dealing with the consequences of hiring the wrong ones. Even in my sleep, I was pitching. And the feedback never stops. Every conversation pulls me in a different direction. My startup professors are seasoned Silicon Valley founders and well-known VCs, but each have wildly different philosophies. There's no roadmap, just constant unknowns, and I'm tired, but I feel fulfilled. Half year ago, I came to Stanford wanting to solve Taiwan's English education and corporate training challenges. But 6 months in, that mission has evolved from just education to tackling cross-cultural communication challenges in global enterprises using AI. So now I'm going to share some of my lessons and observations on what makes Stanford Stanford and what makes the Silicon Valley the place to start your business. First, we take risks. We all grow up with the experience of having a crazy idea or even just a tiny thought, and you want to tell your friends. But a lot of times, people around you would ask, why bother to do that? Because before you succeed, most people will tell you 10,000 reasons you're going to fail, why you shouldn't start. But it's the 1% of reason, of chances that push you towards innovation, that makes you exist, makes you persist. So here in the Bay Area, the mindset is different from elsewhere. The first response when you talk about your idea isn't doubt, it's about curiosity. People would ask, why not? What if it actually works? What if you figure it out? What if this idea changed everything? The shift in mindset is what makes Silicon Valley different. It's not the people here don't fail. It's just they actually fail all the time. It's just they never give up. They always start again. So we have a joke here at the Silicon Valley saying that if your startup fails on the East Coast, like in New York, Boston, people is going to tell you, it's okay, just go back to work or try consulting. But here in the Bay Area, people would say, it's okay, just start another one. My first day at Stanford wasn't in a classroom. It was outside at the D school, playing icebreaker games. One game started very simple. We had to count 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 in pairs. Then we added a third count. We had to do like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 with different gestures. So people started messing up. Letitia, one of our instructors, asked us how we felt. And people said, damn, I hate failing. Then she made us switch it up. Now, every time we messed up, we had to say, ta-da! So now Letitia asked us how we felt this time. I raised my hand and said, our pair didn't make any mistakes, but honestly, I feel bad because everyone else looks like they're having fun messing up. She laughed and said, that's the mindset. If you're not making mistakes, you're not pushing yourself enough. Innovation happens outside your comfort zone. So I paste this post-it note. You can see here on the left side, I just paste this post-it note on my dorm wall, and I see it all the time. At Stanford, we take risks. It's not because we have to, but it's because it's part of who we are. Stanford is a school built on a pioneer mindset, and the spirit still drives everything here. That was my first lesson at Stanford. Ta-da! This is a picture of HSNU, 师大附中, where the school that I did my internship at. In February, the principal, Wang Shuli 校长, my former boss, took several kids here to Stanford, and I gave them a tour at the School of Education and some makery. So at the Stanford Makery, there's actually around 20-ish maker space like this where you can build stuff, you can mess things around, you can do anything you want. And you don't have to pay for anything because we believe that it's okay to mess up. Messing up is a learning process. We believe that mistakes aren't failures, they're prototypes for success. Another mindset is that here we launch before it's ready. If you want to build something new, you can't wait until you feel ready because you're never gonna feel ready. You have to jump in before you have all the answers. You build, you test, and iterate along the way. I want to give a shout out to Edgar, who's also joining us online today. Edgar is the CEO of Spark Labs, one of the largest venture accelerators in Asia. He posted a video yesterday where he said, in many parts of Asia, startups aim for perfection before launching. But here in the Bay Area, the mindset is different. Launch before it's perfect, fail fast, and learn faster. As Denzel Washington put it, we don't fall back, we fall forward. So there's also the lean startup method or lean launchpad method that we solve big problems with tiny prototypes. Another thing is we solve hard problems. The people and culture here push you to think bigger. You won't settle for anything less than solving world-challenging problems and building high-impact ventures. If your idea isn't crazy enough, destructive enough, or ambitious enough, then it's not big enough for this. Then this problem is not big enough for this area. We can see that everyone can call themselves an entrepreneur, probably like places in Taiwan or other big cities. Like everyone can say, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. But we define entrepreneurship differently here in Silicon Valley. My teacher, James Currier, he's a partner at NFX, a VC firm. He once said, there's a difference between being an entrepreneur and just playing entrepreneur. Like we call it wantrepreneur. So if you're a wantrepreneur, you network for clout, you pitch for hype, you chase validation instead of solving real problems. Real entrepreneurs don't have time for that. They're too busy, like building, iterating, solving problems that matter. We call it entrepreneurs here. They are competitive, they're speedy, and they're savage. Jensen Huang also said something similar. There's no work-life balance to build a successful company. So you can see everything like this, how to solve the next great problem, how to solve important problems. And a few weeks ago, Lisa Su gave a talk at Stanford Business School, 2 weeks after Jensen was here at the CS, I think CS 162, like there's a CS class featuring all CEOs and founders in this class. And Lisa Su came 2 weeks after Jensen was here. She says, you can work on anything in life, but when you work on a really hard problem, you can garner an incredible amount of resources, creativity, and focus that will allow you to do something that you wouldn't imagine possible. Being Taiwanese here is pretty special. We have successful Taiwanese Americans speaking on campus, donating buildings, and shaping industries. Gloria Lee is my professor at the Graduate School of Business. She's another example of the Taiwanese excellence here. They all said the same thing. My parents always told me to dream big, not asking us to be doctors or lawyers. This is the Stanford Graduate School of Business. It says, dedicated to the things that haven't happened yet and the people who are about to dream them up. Innovation starts with imagination. You can't build what you can't imagine. For many students studying abroad, there's a question that always comes up. Go back home or stay here? Well, there's no right answer. It really depends on what you want and where you are in your journey. For me, if I frame it like this, do I stay in my safe, successful career or take a leap to play a bigger game? And for now, that leap has led me here. Now at Stanford, within just 6 months, my idea has grown beyond what I imagined. I've refined my concept, built a prototype, won funding, and got into the most competitive startup class and some entrepreneur awards. Where I now get to pitch directly to top investors like Rolf Boda from Sequoia Capital. Quick update on my project. I'm building an AI-powered communication coach to bridge cross-cultural communication gaps in business. If you're interested in learning more, feel free to email me or leave a note in the feedback form after the event. Solving hard problems doesn't just change your world, it actually transforms you. Third, we learn by doing. Stanford was built with a mission of impact. Unlike Ivy League schools, which were founded with a focus on tradition and academia, Stanford was founded with a mission to bring something useful to the world. Leland and Jane Stanford made it clear in the Stanford founding rant. This university wasn't just for education. It was created to drive real-world impact. Unlike many universities that keep research within academia, Stanford actively encourages professors to commercialize their work. That's why so many groundbreaking innovations like Google, DNA sequencing, and modern AI breakthroughs started here. Another thing about Stanford is that our class sizes are small and we have strong ties with nearby institutions. So a lot of our courses are project-based, pushing us to get out of the building and apply research in the real world. My dad once asked me why the chairs at the D school look so uncomfortable. I told him because we don't sit tight. We're always moving, designing, and building here in the classroom. I'd like to share a class that I took in the CS department last quarter. It's called Designing Serious Games. If you're wondering what serious games are, they are games designed for education, social change, or training, not just for fun. The course load was intense. We had to read research papers on game theory or social change or different kinds of topics for us to incorporate to our games. After that, we have to write or draw reflections based on the essays, the research paper we read, and we have to build a game every 2 weeks based on these research. This project-based course pushed me to apply game design principles to real-world challenges, such as social change and civic engagement. The first game my team and I built was called Sunnyvale, California. It's a board game about NIMBYism. It's called Not in My Backyard. It's designed to help players understand housing policies and the social dynamics of urban development. NIMBYism is a major housing issue where residents oppose new developments, especially affordable housing or infrastructure projects, because they don't want them in their own neighborhood. The top 10 NIMBY cities in the States are all in the Bay Area. This means while Silicon Valley is home to some of the most innovative companies in the world, it also faces severe housing shortages, skyrocketing rent, and deep debates over urban development. You can see this is the evolution of Sunnyvale, California, from small paper cards and whiteboard sketches to a fully packaged sellable board game. It's a process of constant iteration. We didn't just come up with an idea and call it done. We went through multiple game tests, refined the mechanics, and tweaked designs based on player feedback. And this ties directly back to what I mentioned earlier. At Stanford, we test and iterate fast. Another game I built together with a group of amazing female classmates is called Fix 'Em Uppin'. It's a dating simulation game that explores the emotional labor women often take on in relationships. As students at Stanford, we've seen firsthand the dating challenges women face in Silicon Valley. The game puts players in the role of fixing problematic partners by helping them develop essential traits like emotional intelligence, responsibility, and empathy. In the game, players are Cupid. You will guide clueless men through challenges to help them develop emotional intelligence, responsibility, and other traits. But whether they actually improve is up to your choices. The core premise of the game centers around fixing problematic men by guiding them through 6 key traits. And players navigate a dynamic world where their decisions impact their partner's development, reflecting the real-life challenges many women here face when dating. At the heart of the game, we want Fix 'Em Up to cover an optimistic belief in growth and change, suggesting that people, including men, have the potential to evolve with the right support and environment. This is drawn by one of our team members who's now a software engineer at Khan Academy. The goal wasn't to just make a fun game, but to spark real conversations about relationships, gender expectations, and personal growth. We tested this game multiple times, refining its storyline, mechanics, and player experience based on a lot of feedback. Gamification is a buzzword in education, including Taiwan. But designing a meaningful game takes real skill. Not everyone gets the experience of actually learning game design, prototyping, and iterating based on research and feedback. This project is an example of how we are hands-on and interdisciplinary approach, blending game design, psychology, and social impact into an interactive experience that makes people think. Another debate that is constantly bring up is that can startups be taught? Well, it depends on how they're taught. You didn't learn how to walk by reading books. Entrepreneurship is the same. Before coming to Stanford, I've read tons of books written by Silicon Valley founders when I was in Taiwan. But since I wasn't building this kind of Silicon Valley style startup, it was hard to relate. The truth is, the only way to learn how to start a business is to start one. There are 70 startup classes at Stanford, and the most popular ones are experiential. You have to apply with a team and an idea to get in. After some applications and interviews. And so far, I got into 2 of Stanford's most competitive startup classes with my project. The first one is called Venture Creation for the Real Economy. This is the first startup class at Stanford, where Steve Jobs was once a speaker. The second one is the most popular one. It's called the Lean Launchpad. It's very competitive. So the cohort I applied to has only a 16% acceptance rate. These classes bring in serial founders and top venture capitalists from the Bay Area, and they are brutal. Real VCs show up, give honest feedback, and push you to grow. One of the teachers, Mike Lyons, once said, Steve Jobs once gave a 1-hour presentation here in this class 30 years ago when this class just launched. It was entertaining, but it was useless because the best way to learn how to start a business is to start one. And DoorDash, Firefox, and a lot of companies were born in these startup classes. The fourth point that I want to share is that we collaborate across disciplines. No one starts a business alone. We collaborate across disciplines. Stanford University is known for its strong interdisciplinary culture, encouraging students to cross traditional disciplinary boundaries and collaborate across different schools and departments. We are one of the few places where faculty and students from all across every field can interact with and work together. So take my own program, the LDT program, as an example. Our cohort includes engineers, designers, and educators, and our curriculum blends education, design, and technology. There are a lot of different interdisciplinary programs at Stanford, such as management, science, and engineering. Biodesign, or symbolic systems. Symbolic system is a fusion of CS, linguistics, psychology, and philosophy. So here you won't find rigid academic silos because everything here is interconnected. A lot of research universities offer cross-listed courses, but Stanford actively encourages students to take classes across schools. Although my cohort has fewer than 20 people, at my birthday party, over 200 people showed up, including my friends from different schools, undergrads, grads, and beyond. This party was inspired when I heard that at the 20th reunion, Stanford alums were asked what they would have done differently if they could have time travel back to their student days at Stanford. The most common answer is that I would have met more people. I wish I hadn't known what they were like 20 years ago when we were peers at school. So inspired by this, I decided to throw a party where all of my friends could connect and meet each other. What began as a simple idea of business school and education school gathering evolved into a cross-generational gathering. We brought together my friends across Stanford, Bay Area, and even on the East Coast. My friend Jonathan Chen even flew in from New York with his co-founder. So here, you don't just hang out with your classmates. You can work and party with anyone on campus and beyond. We grow through connections and community. Stanford's research is naturally cross-disciplinary, and teachers here are chill. They're always here to help. A lot of labs team up, different schools collaborate, and ideas flow across fields. I experienced this firsthand at the AI Education Summit, where I presented my poster on augmenting workforce language learning with AI-generated situative learning mechanism, and it caught Andrew Ng's interest. I ended up having a 30-minute conversation with him, discussing LLMs, ASR in learning, and even Taiwan's English education, because our former president, Tsai Ing-wen, had spoken to him about this topic before. He also demoed his product in deep learning AI and how he's pushing AI in the education field. My project explores how large language model and in-context learning can transform language learning and communication training. By generating adaptive workplace scenarios with real-time feedback, a project bridges the gap between traditional ESL lessons and real-world business needs, and this makes professional communication training more scalable and effective. Here, people are ambitious without being cutthroat. And teams need diverse strengths in order to problem solve. So here, collaboration is second nature. Conversations don't just end when they end. They open doors. So it's very common when people are always sharing, connecting, helping each other grow. You'll hear phrases like, hey, I'm happy to chat. Let me connect you with what blah, blah, blah. You should reach out to Eric. You should check this out. You should go apply for this grant. Because the culture here is about lifting each other up. Whether it's research, startups, or just exchanging ideas, everyone is one introduction away from their next big opportunity. I read some of the questions that in the registration form. I'm not going to spend too much time on talking about networking. We can launch a class on how to network, but I do want to share a few key things. Networking isn't just about meeting people. It's about creating real connections. What I do is simple. Reach out, but only after doing your homework. Speak up in class or pitch your ideas publicly. Ask good questions, contribute meaningfully. Show up rather than waiting to be invited. Bring people together, introduce friends, share resources, throw parties and gatherings. And that's how you build social capital. People are willing to help, but no one wants to do your homework for you. Be intentional and be respectful. Pick a specific target, make a specific request. Update and appreciate people and tell them what happened afterwards. And most importantly, you gotta push yourself where opportunities happen. Take classes that push you. Speak up in class. Join hackathons, clubs, communities. Apply for opportunities. The more you show up, the more doors open. And finally, my last point is about we're chill. We're chill but ambitious. People are ambitious without being cutthroat. Yes, we do have crazy traditions like fountain hopping. We save the energy from choosing what to wear and how to dress up. I won a hackathon in my pajamas. And I also got a meta quest from my professor without a return date because my professor learns that I'm building this AI communication coach. And so she gave me a meta quest and bought some apps that she found highly relevant to my project. So give me sufficient time to play with it. And Stanford gives you space. I mean, literally. My friends come visit often, and they are always shocked about how free we can use our spaces. They say, Stanford rents out space for free to let you make noise and drink alcohol? That's crazy. If you want to host a startup brainstorm, a game night, parties, you can just book a room for free. Compared to other schools, especially on the East Coast, a lot of things is locked down and full of rules. But here, you're encouraged to experiment, gather people, and create something new, whether it's a business, community, or just a good time. I would also like to share something cool and a bit weird of Stanford's most unique tradition, a Halloween party at the Stanford Family Mausoleum. It's where the latent Stanford family is buried. It's basically a big outdoor party with music, costumes, and dancing organized by students. People here wants to help you succeed, so you can easily talk with anyone you want, including our president. So our new president, President 11th, he hosted a party at a main quad, and people even asked him what classes to take. Asked him like very trivial advice that you probably won't ask other presidents. And he also throw parties at his house. Our teachers learn with us and help us succeed. So our teachers once in a while would send encouragement letters to cheer us up. We also have mentors in the industry. For example, Chuck is my mentor in a startup class. He's the ex-CTO and CPO of Chegg. So he said he helped me apply. He volunteered to be my mentor at a accelerator program. And he said, the reason that I'm motivated to be involved in this project is because I have great mentors in my life. And this is a way for me to pay it forward. And I enjoy working with Jennifer. We're living in a time where everyone on the internet seems to think that they're an expert and has all the answers. But what we really need are more people who ask, listen, and stay open to different perspectives. At Stanford, even the most accomplished professors are curious about what you think. When I presented my poster, Andrew Ng, the master of machine learning, was the one who asked the most questions. And that's the mindset here. You gotta keep an open mind, engage in conversations, and stay curious about the people around you. My advisor, Professor Candice Tile, collaborates with global companies like Amazon. Based in Seattle, she flies to Stanford every week. As an expert in adult learning and workforce training, she once shared the story of how she became part of Stanford. Back in 2015, Stanford launched its own MOOC, which is Mass Open Online Course Initiative, but Candice challenged it. She argued that MOOCs aren't real education innovation. They simply broadcast traditional instructional methods at scale without truly transforming learning. She pointed out that putting courses online is still passive learning, and that real innovation should go beyond just scaling content. And guess what? Stanford listened. Instead of dismissing her criticism, they brought her in. And that's the kind of spirit we have here. We're open to disagreement. It's no accident that Stanford's first president chose our motto, "The wind of freedom blows." Discovery and learning require fresh ideas, open discussion, and sometimes even sharp disagreements. Back in Taiwan, when I launched my online course, I hosted a workshop where an Instagram influencer teaching self-discipline and personal branding joined. We had a promotion collaboration project at that time. So a marketing manager asked if he could share his experience and thoughts about this workshop. And he refused and said, "I'm a celebrity." Well, at Stanford, it's the opposite. People really don't care about like how many followers you have or what status you are. We focus on the real work. Even the most successful entrepreneurs, researchers, and investors, they don't act like big shots. They're too busy building, innovating, and solving big problems. And here, people don't brag how great they are. They're just curious and focused on learning and making an impact. So let's wrap up. We covered 5 things that makes Stanford Stanford. First, we take risks. Second, we solve hard problems. And third, we learn by doing. Fourth, we collaborate across disciplines. And we're chill. So some takeaways that you can remember is that first, fail fast, fail forward. Solve hard problems. The best way to learn how to start a business is to start one. Reach out, speak up, show up, bring people together, and do serious things without taking yourself seriously. Before I wrap up, I would like to give a shout out to my professor, Sherman at NTU. He taught me critical thinking and complex problem solving. He also wrote my recommendation letter that helped me get into Stanford and Harvard. He has supported me throughout my career. He shared my post that captured the spirit of entrepreneurship. He said, "Jennifer might succeed, she might not, but that's not the point. The point of entrepreneurship is stepping into the unknown and embracing uncertainty." I want to conclude my talk with this. At Stanford Graduate School of Business, Phil Knight's footprint is etched in stone with his words. He's the founder of Nike and an alum of Stanford. There comes a time in every life when the past recedes and the future opens. It's that moment when you turn to face the unknown. Some will turn back to what they already know. Some will walk straight ahead into uncertainty. I can't tell you which one is right, but I can tell you which one is more fun. That's exactly what I started. Entrepreneurship is hard, but over the past 6 months, I've accomplished more than I ever imagined possible. I won hackathons, grants, building relationships with some of the most influential scholars, and having hundreds, if not thousands, of deep one-on-one conversations to people I admire. What started as an idea is now evolving into a working prototype, moving closer to reality. I'm not here to tell all of you to start a business. You can be successful in many ways. But through this talk, I hope to give you a real glimpse into the startup world and what Silicon Valley truly feels like. Fast, relentless, full of uncertainty, yet overflowing with possibility. Okay, so this is my talk, and I would welcome you guys to share your thought from this QR code. And we're gonna have a QA session, right? Okay, so 慈毅，
就你现在有看到那个 Slido 这边的画面吗？就你现在有看到那个 Slido 这边的画面吗？
我看一下手机好了。你可以把那个 Slido 放到我们的那个群组吗？
好。
我看一下手机好了。你可以把那个 Slido 放到我们的那个。
好，既然我们现在到 Q&A 的环节哦，那我就把时间再交给你。那 Slido 上面有许多的提问，那我们等会针对提问的方面让大家做回应，谢谢。
好 ，OK，today I want to invite a special guest who's also from NTU Singapore, Ash. So Ash is my classmate. He has a very special background and he's a good friend of mine. And I'm very happy like he can be here with me today and he can introduce about himself and probably take on some questions. Let's welcome Ash.
So hello everyone, my name is Ash and I'm also from the Stanford Learning Design and Technology program and I'm a really good friend of Jen. So I'm really happy to be here today with everyone. And I think for me in here at Stanford, I'm really interested in the idea of portfolio building because in today's world, portfolio building is becoming more and more important because schools, employers are moving away from grades and exam scores as people start looking for internships, jobs, and applying for grad school. But I think I noticed that many students actually do not know how to do it and where to start, how to begin. So here at Stanford, I'm really interested in making this process more accessible to everyone. So if this is something that you guys are interested in or just want to find out more about Stanford in general, please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and then we can also definitely chat more.
Okay. Okay, so let me see. So now we are gonna move on to the QA session. Okay, let me take a look. Wait, see, are you sharing the screen?
Yeah.
嘿，慈毅会share荧幕吗？还是我share？
现在大家看到的已经是 Slido 上面的提问的题目了，所以我们可以直接。
Oh, this is a good question. So the question is why don't you just go to Google or Google Meta, these big companies? Well, yeah, the salary it's good. And work-life balance, perfect. Well, it's probably not the case right now because of AI. A lot of software engineers are being replaced, but in the past, like it's really chill to work in these companies. But if you ask people around, like if you go to the CS department and I'll ask all these people that are starting their business, they care more about the impact that you make. Because if you think about the salary, it might be good now, but how about after 5 years, 10 years? If your startup worked out, you might IPO or you will have an exponentialist growth of your business, but your salary might not grow as fast as a startup that is successful. But in contrast, if your startup fails, you can still go back to all these companies, and these companies like people with startup experiences. On a side note, people who started a business is a plus. Even if you fail, it still looks good on your resume. Okay, let me take a look. Another one. Jen 的分享太棒了。时间与精力的管理。We have a lot of mental doctors here. We have counselors here at Stanford. 我们还有很多那个舒压活动 like boba and bunnies, boba and puppies, boba and fluffies, like all these boba and animals events. 就是我们有很多这种 这个舒压活动，虽然我都没有去，完全没有时间去，但是就是学校会办这种活动，让你可以舒压，然后可能要运动，所以我觉得我上学期没有做得很好 in terms of 身心平衡。然后如果下一步的计划，我应该会想要申请一些加速器来看我的那个 startup 可以到什么样的进度 ，OK。然后如果你对 AI communication， 如果你对于 AI 的 learning tool 很有兴趣的话呢，你觉得你在工作的时候你会有国际沟通的困扰的话呢，你也可以就是和我们连，就是可以再和我说，我们可以 have a conversation。好 ，OK。有人说这样听下来，矽谷和 Stanford 跟我们台湾的差异在于社群的文化和机会。因为我观察台湾的软体技术和供应链不输西方，我们不如矽谷的真正是什么创业家文化。对，我今天讲的应该没有讲到技术层面，我今天讲的应该比较多是 mindset 的东西。对，所以我觉得是文化的差异。飞呛虾学姐分享的学习文化态度，在资讯流通的现在，其实在台湾也能够参与和自我创造群体。那真正让学姐感受到 Stanford 跟台湾教育跟社群的核心差异在哪里呢？我想一下要怎么说。你和这边的每个人的讲话，大家的反应，或者是我们在讨论的事情是不一样的。我知道有些人会说我上线上课就好，对不对？我可以买 Stanford 的线上课，然后我还是可以有线上可以参加，线上可以认识这些教授，但是线上和实体就是非常不一样。你来这边，首先这边天气好，就是怎么讲，心情很好，然后空气清晰，所以这是最基本的，就是环境就会影响一个人的心情。然后另外我想分享的事情是，我们在这边学校有非常多的活动，你永远不知道你什么时候遇到谁，非常多的对话都是在你没有预期的时候发生的。比方说我们这边每天都有球赛或者什么的比赛， like Stanford 的运动非常强，如果我们是一个像 Stanford 如果是个经济体的话，它是全世界第10大经济体，就是我们的校友的产值。可是如果 Stanford 是一个国家的话，它是去年的奥运是全世界第11名，和加拿大并列第10还第11名。所以我们去这些比赛的时候，你就可以，就学校常有很多比赛，所以你就会认识，你就会遇到很多不同的机会，很多机会都是被动而来的。就是在台湾，你需要很主动去 reach out 去找资源，可是大部分的资源是你根本不知道的，你根本不知道它存在，你怎么会去你怎么有办法？就是所谓的资讯流通，其实并没有到那么流通，非常连 Stanford 这边都是。我们 Stanford 是一个农场，所以我们大家都说 Stanford is a farm。它很惊人的就是，我们这边虽然是一个很像科技的发源地，但这边资讯非常不流通，常常都是说 happening now， 希拉蕊来了 ，happening yesterday， 或者说你知道昨天那个詹森旺来吗？就是这边资讯就是常常都很不流通，因为同时有太多事情在发生，学校非常大。常常你那个真叫4下5人，因为学校中太空旷，所以并没有，就是连你人在这边都非常的，就是资讯不流通，更何况你人不在这个地方。然后再来就是平常这种实体的互动就可以感受到差别。OK 还有一个很重要的，很多东西大家不会在线上讲，我们非常多课程演讲完全不能录影，他们不会，就是偷录都不行，所以他会跟你讲实话。对，只要会放到网络上，大家都不会讲实话。OK， 好奇学姐从台湾出发前跟目前 Stanford 的心得，尤其出发前会不会有外国月亮比较圆的假设？目前感受如何？真的有比较厉害吗？如果中短期只能待在亚洲和台湾发展，又应该要如何跟上矽谷的趋势？我觉得我在出发前没有觉得国外的月亮比较圆，可是我觉得不是说比较圆，我觉得应该是说，因为我常常出国旅行，我觉得每一个国家都有它自己的优势和劣势。我觉得到现在在这边真的比较厉害了，看你跟哪个方面比。如果你说创业的文化、科技，很明显就是比较厉害啊。就是这边的学生，这边就是有办法吸引到最优秀的学生，他们可以给奖学金或是什么的。可是像我们在这边，很多人大1、大2就进 Y Combinator， 就是全世界最知名的加速器。 然后做创公司，还有人公司他才大一就做休学去赚钱，就是这就是很明显的落差。在台湾可能这样子的人就会上新闻，可是在这边没有人知道他是谁。对，然后我看一下，问题是什么？有没有外国幼儿园？对，然后当然这边也有比较，因为我们现在讲中文，我可以分享说，我觉得台湾人很多外国的公司会到台湾去找工程师，就是这边的薪资有点过高，对，然后台湾人的工作态度非常可靠，对，我觉得这是从不同面向来讲的比较会不一样。OK， 我看一下哦。When it comes to communication training, do you see AI replacing human trainers? Well, it's not replacing yet, but it is going to replace one day. For example, at Stanford CS department, there's a professor called Li Yang. She used to hire a negotiation coach, and they charge $500. It's not the most expensive one. She's just finding an average trainer. And this average coach, excuse me, and this negotiation coach asked her to talk about to read his book in the first week, the first chapter, and then the second chapter the next week, and then she got pissed off. So she decided to start her own research on how to train AI to be a negotiation coach. So there are people doing that already here. I also know that Stanford has a lab or several labs that are training AIs to be patients. So they are training patients. They are training AI to be patients to help doctors to be better doctors or have better interactions with their patients. I also know that there's a lab, I guess. They are training AI to be more empathetic. Okay. Curious about your biggest failure in life and career so far. As you mentioned, fail fast, fail forward. Love this quote. Thank you. I think my mindset has changed now. I don't really label an incident as failure now as I do before. I think here, a lot of times we use different language here. So in other places, if you say you fail, you would say, it's a failure, right? But here, if a startup fails, you say we pivot, right? we 就是我们转型，就是我们用的语言不太一样。我们在其他地方说我失败了，对不对？或者我们台湾人很常讲鲁蛇 ，like 没有在这边很少有 loser 这个字 ，there's like 很少听到这个字。所以我觉得如果讲 setback 的话，我觉得可以参考上一支影片，Yeah， 我觉得应该是 like my family issue, I guess。
我等一下会放连结给大家，这样子。
family issue 应该是我的人生的巨变 ，Yeah。Let me see， 我好像看到 Mito，Mito is my student。Mito is my student. Okay, she says so inspired. 爱心，像 Jen 刚刚说的，有积极、强烈积极的动力和梦想的生活会迎来疲累。早上睁眼第一个想法是压力大的时候。Jen 遇到这种早晨会怎么调试状态，开创有生产力、自己满意的一天？This makes me feel so guilty. 你们有 follow Mito? Mito is a very energetic person. Yeah, 我常常没有早晨。我以前在大学的时候可能体力更好，现在就是年纪有点大了。我有的时候就会就是睡到自然醒，就是日夜颠倒。但是我的睡眠时间不会到很久，就是我觉得这是 something I have to figure out。我的睡眠时间大概6个小时，然后忙的时候可能5个小时，就是我通常自然醒就6个小时，我要自然醒，这不是很好的事情。那我相信在这边很多人都这样，因为我们学校光睡眠的课就有几十堂课是跟睡眠相关的课。对，所以我觉得我不是最好的例子，因为我就像我刚刚讲的，就是一个work-life balance 不是一个很好的。你有没有？我们问 Ash 好，你有没有什么调整的方法？
找朋友聊天。
他说找朋友聊天，然后他会去健身房。对。When it comes to communication, 这个讲过。Curious what your biggest 这也讲过。How to be charming and form a supporting group in which everybody grow together. How to be charming Be a good storyteller. Yeah. If you're a good storyteller, people want to be friends with you. They want to give you money. They want to invest in you, invest in your company, and join whatever you want to do. Dream big 的前提，家底也要够雄厚。Yeah, this is a good question. 我觉得其实啊不一定，因为我觉得有的时候很多人是说我要不要就是要出国留学，是不是因为要靠家里还很有要靠看我家里有没有钱资助？但是其实没在我可以举这边很多例子，包括我自己就是，我原本毕业的时候 I didn't even know what I really want to do in life. I'm just chasing like fun, fame, all these fancy stuff. And then I decided I might want to do a master's program abroad because everyone's doing that, right? 然后我爸就得癌症，你可以去看上一集 ，OK， 请参考上一集。所以我家人我需要，然后那不是一般的癌症，来我们有很多后面发生的事情，来就是有很多像就是叫怎么讲，就是complication 并发症、排斥 whatever， 所以就有很多的烧钱的行程、烧钱的治疗，所以我爸爸妈妈也没有钱来支付我说我要去美国来念书，所以后来我就是做企业内去赚钱 ，OK， 然后也是一个可以同时照顾家人的一个弹性的生活，对，然后我才走出了另外一个道路 ，like I figure out something else in life, like other possibility, and it's also something I really like. 所以这个我的家里现在不雄厚 ，like honestly 不雄厚。然后我也很后悔，我那时候没有申请一个奖学金。对，我觉得这也跟 dream big 相关。A lot of times you have to dream big, like 家底不够雄厚 will force you to dream big because you gotta be ambitious to get all these resources.For example， 我来举一个例子，我们班的同学有一个人就是在 JP Morgan 当工程师，他那时候就是家里破产，他没有钱，他家人生病，他的房子被查封3次。What's the word? Yeah， 然后就说你房租缴不出来，我们就是警告3次警告，第3次我们就要赶你走了。结果呢，他在1年之内，他申请很多奖学金，他就赚钱，他去到处帮人家写，就是找人家创业，然后。最后他付清了他的学费，付清他家人的医药费，然后申请到全额奖学金在 Stanford。所以这个完全不是家底，他不止没有家底雄厚，他还要帮他家弥补这个漏洞。可是他有没有 dream big? Like he is。他后来跟我说他 drop out， 因为他去帮比尔盖茨的女儿创业。Yeah, seriously， 他常常都不在。然后就是来，我再举一个例子，就是没有，这不是一个前提，常常是相反。就是因为你的家底不够雄厚，你才被迫我一定要 dream big. Would you recommend people to land a job or start a company if a student has a visa issue to stay in the States? This is a good question. Well, okay, we're Taiwanese, right? So it's not that hard. It's not an issue. It's not an issue for Taiwanese. It might be an issue if you're from somewhere else. But我也不是美国人，然后我们很多人大部分的台湾人出来念书，想要留在美国的话，他们会去选择 STEM 的，就是理工科系，你这样子就可以有3年，毕业后有3年可以留下来。那我们的科系就是 STEM， 所以我们也可以留3年。然后呢，你可以，如果你是工作的话，你就是要找工作嘛。然后，但是如果创业的话，我们有另外一个管道叫做就是创业相关的签证 ，OK。然后，但我今天没有要分享这个创业的这个法律咨询，但我就讲个大概，就是说我自己会觉得创业是一个很好掌控在你手中，它虽然比较有挑战，可是它是掌控在你手中。可是相反的，如果我今天是要找工作，我常常会需要看雇主的脸色，而且这边裁员非常的就是非常的 common， 所以我们在这边。一方面外国人不好找工作，因为我还要花钱 sponsor 你，然后另外一方面政策不稳定，然后又常常裁员，所以我觉得没有一定说我推荐人要，就是我觉得这件事情不会因为你有没有 visa 而影响到你的决定。延伸刚刚学姐先创业后可回大厂的观点，请问学姐观察为什么这么多北美的顶尖大学生还是会先去大厂，而非先创业 ？OK。第一个， 等一下，那个词义我们要不要？我们有那个我们有那个回馈的 QR code 嘛，对不对？大家可以一边写回馈，对，好，然后OK， 好，我们还有写信，就是我们今天如果问题没有问完，就是会像上一次这样，
要请你把那个截到那个 QR code 的那一张的，就是回馈表单的页面，所以你的 PowerPoint 要到那一面。
OK， 现在有在 share screen 是不是？
现在他们看到的是你的画面，然后我们现在会有。
那好 OK， 还是我们直接传连接到对话也可以。
好，我同步，两边一起同步。
OK， 好。我觉得我不要跳到那个画面好了，因为我这样比较好看其他问题。OK， 好，那个我们先回来，有几个原因，第一个是我没有题目，就是你要创业最重要的是你要有好的题目。Okay, you have to have a good idea. Because the first one is that you have to have a good idea. A lot of people don't have a good idea. 然后第二个就是有些人他们就是觉得我这样子比较好拿到，对我的工作比较好拿到身份，或者是我可以赚更多钱，比较稳定的赚到钱，因为创业不一定可以赚到钱。OK， 好，对，所以我觉得这只是就是你的选择而已。How to get funds to start a company? OK， 最简单的就是自己赚钱。OK， 你自己的钱来赚，然后你家人的，或是你跟你亲朋好友借钱。但这个是我讲的最简单，是说最单纯，我们后面会越来越复杂。第二个就是 bootstrap， 就是你也可以用 revenue， 就是你就 bootstrap 的就是说刚刚用你自己的钱，你其他地方赚了钱，或者是你家人要赞助你干嘛的，或者你跟亲朋友要拉钱这些。然后另外一个就是你就自己的产品卖就有钱 revenue。有些人呢，他们会直接卖，这边很流行，就是我东西还没出来，我先卖东西，反正我有网站，我就先有钱进来再说。那第二个，我们在这边矽谷这边的这种 Silicon Valley 的 startup 叫 venture。所以我们这边有非常多的 venture capital 嘛 ，venture capitalist 就是投资人，他们会投资你钱。所以我在公司很像我们会买股票，对不对？但这些人他就是买公司的股份，就是我是买公司的一部分，他还没上市之前，我看他小的时候呢，我就跟你说我给你100万美金，我给你多少钱，然后换可能10% 的股份，换多少的股份。等到你公司茁壮的时候呢，我这个钱就越来越大。OK， 所以那个我们在讲 venture capital 就是 another topic， 但大概就是分这两种，就是你要别人投资你，然后另外就是说还有一些比较其他有的没的，比方说比较 diverse 的是说，像你有一些 grant 啊，有些比赛啊，这些都是一些 funding。但这边最常见，你如果是要快速的变大茁壮的话呢，就会是透过我们的 venture capital。How do you prove the financial monetary value of communication skills to enterprise to adopt your AI tool? 这个有很多，这个比较不是这个要怎么讲？这个有很多方法，但举例来说，要怎么讲呢？举例来说，公司它因为 communication skill 亏损多少钱之类的。OK， 好，这个比较是这个可以上开课的问题。它比较是 case by case， 我们有一些方法可以去算。Do you have anxiety or burnout issues? Do you have any suggestions for people on how to manage or balance them? 我觉得运动很好 ，Yeah， 运动很好。还有 you have to build your community and you have to find people to talk to. I have a lot of mentors here at Stanford, and I also have friends and people that I can reach out to back home. So I think having first work out, yeah, and be in nature and reach out to people. OK， 请问在台湾英文不错，但到了美国有些口语笑话听不懂，跟母语人士的落差应该要如何在美国之前加强呢？ That's the reason we're building this project. 对，因为我们现在在 build 的这个 project 就是说，我们觉得很多人呢，这个英文很好，或是很多人托福满分，然后来这边的时候，人家点咖啡，店员跟你说 Have a good one， 你就说 Which one？ 不知道这边的人的口语到底的用法是怎么样，所以我们要解决这个问题。可是如果你说跟母语人是要怎么加强，我觉得可以多看一些美剧，就看说这边的人在看观察什么，在意什么样的议题，在看什么样的节目，在关注什么样的娱乐的，因为娱乐是最大众嘛，对不对？最的话题，如何说服自己和家人去创业，而不是当劳工？为什么要说服家人 ？You're on your own。对，所以我没有特别说服我家人。对，然后我觉得说服自己，只是因为这是我的热情。I don't have to convince myself, I guess。好，如果要我觉得还有一个，就是因为我是真的很想要解决这个问题。所以我们今天一直在讲说，我们们这边的创业文化，但我最后结尾的时候跟大家说，我并不是要叫大家每一个人都去创业，因为最大的错误就是你为了创业而创业，你完全不知道你要干嘛，你只是想说，我觉得创业很潮，我就去创业，所以不应该是这样做。所以当你要说服自己去创业的话，可能不一定是对的，因为通常创业是说我真的有一个热情，我非做它不可，我不做它，就是我愿意承担失去一切的风险，我才去做它，而不是说我有点想创业，但我也很想去 Google， 我要怎么说服我自己去创业呢？ That's the wrong mindset。OK， 好，要怎么 ask for a coffee chat or connect 呢？就是我们刚刚有讲到，就是说一个很简单的，就是 do your homework。我常常收到很多人的讯息，就是他们可能就是没有做功课，然后就是问你说可不可以聊聊，或者 hi， 然后没有做功课，就问你很 general 的问题。还有人直接说我想要找你聊聊，了解 Stanford 的创业文化，还有说我想要创业，请问 Stanford 适合我吗？ These are generic questions。 你要找自己做功课，不要就是大家会乐意帮你，可是你要 do your homework and ask specific people with specific requests， 就是不要问这种很像乱枪打鸟的问题，好像随便网络上找一个 Stanford 学生就问他说Stanford 好不好，这就是没有做功课。 OK， 所以做功课，然后 be specific。 对，然后另外一个我觉得还有就是你要把你自己变到一个 community 里面，你的那个几率会变非常非常高。像我们在这边已经有太多老师会跟你说，这边社长就跟你说，你用 @stanford.edu 结尾的信寄出去，99%都会回。对，确实是真的。所以这就是为什么我们很多来学校演讲的什么 Bill Gates、Jensen 这些人，很多都是学生寄信去问的。对，所以我们就是你如果用 Stanford.edu 的信去 reach out 就会很有效。那像大家可能在台大，或者是你是有什么 community， 就是它是最直截了当的一个方法。How do you feel the diversity at Stanford? There's a thread on Reddit talking about that the Bay Area feels like Bangalore. Indians are crowded in most places. Yeah, I agree. Especially if you're in the CS department, it feels like India and China mixed in a building at the CS department. But I do think that diversity is not just about nationality or race. I think it's also the talent and the stories, like what people do before they come here. And I feel in this way, Stanford is diverse because people have interesting stories. We don't judge people merely based on their grades. We look at people in different areas, if they have unique experience, they have a good story to tell, if they can bring and contribute to the community in a very unique way. What makes Stanford 的5个原则，前面感觉4个都要很多心力，如何保持这些又能达成 stay chill 的做法？我觉得 stay chill 不是说我很 lay back. It's not about laying back and relax, sit back and relax and take a nap. 我觉得 chill 比较是我刚刚讲的是说 you have to do serious things without without taking yourself seriously. 比较是说我要享受这个过程， 对，就是说我要 have fun， 而不是说我达到这些东西一定要，就是我觉得是 stay chill， 就是说我今天不论成败，我都很享受这个过程，我会怎么讲，就是很享受这个过程。哎呀，好，我有点不知道怎么讲。我们现在快要半夜了 ，sorry， 我现在头脑越难运转。然后 OK， 反正我想要讲的是说 stay chill 不是说我要放松。Again， 我一直讲没有 work-life balance，it's a myth。There's no work-life balance if you want to start a company in a very competitive environment. Okay, so when I'm saying stay chill, is more about mindset. Like you don't hold yourself, you don't have a high esteem of yourself. 对，比较像是这样。OK， 我想要请问一个跟创业和 Stanford 的问题。我现在在交大念书，也正在创业中，未来研究所也非常想要去 Stanford， 不知道这样的经历在申请研究所有没有帮助呢？还是有什么关键性的证据？这个资讯量太少了，这个没有，这个完全看不出有什么，这个资讯量太少，无法回答。想问，在美国或 Stanford 年龄的压力是不是比较小？如果毕业后已经40，就业上是有问题吗 ？OK， 我觉得我不能回答就业，因为我不知道其他人的就是来就业。但是如果以求职上面来，以学业上来讲，我们 Stanford 学校有白发苍苍的同学，也有妈妈和儿子同班。OK， 所以我们教育学院有一个女生。他就是他儿子念大2，然后他就回来念书。然后也有一些人，我们学校有一个 program。What's the program about？ 那个老人的那个
distinguished
professional。OK， 有一个 program 叫 distinguished professional program。然后那个 program 全部都是一些退休人士，然后他们以前可能在职涯上面有特殊表现还是什么，然后学校就是有这个计划找这些人来学校，所以我们班上就有一个俄罗斯人，然后他有的时候蛮 aggressive， 然后不会想要参与讨论。他跟他同样年纪的人比较 open minded， 他们还是也在班上能够融入大家，并不是因为你的年纪，而是你的 mindset。Would you have any tips to keep in touch with friends even if the life pace is so fast and work culture is very competitive in the Bay Area with many layoffs? 我觉得keep in touch with friends, you have to prioritize. You can't have it all. 对，所以就是你在这边会有新的朋友，然后你没有在那边，你有的时候不一定会 keep in touch。但是就是，yeah, it's hard. You have to prioritize. 对，但是我自己还好，我的朋友就是，yeah, 我们有，我觉得我自己还好，是因为我的朋友们并不会，我们一定要一直去来每天就是常常视讯啊，常常见面，常常干嘛？我觉得是，如果我有问题，或是他们有问题，我们有什么东西，我们想要 reach out 的话，我们就是直接一个 message， 我们并不会说啊，你3年没有理我了，我就不要理你。OK， 所以我自己是觉得这个还好。很好奇学姐在美国如何照顾自己的健康。这样问是因为我在思考台湾就医很简单，会熬夜，会乱吃，例如牙医就去就医，这边会强迫你要保学生保险，对，所以我们这边有健康中心，对，然后觉得健康中心还不错。How do you develop English proficiency all the way through school life? Any suggestions for youth in Taiwan? Hang out with people who speak English. Yeah, don't hang out with Taiwan. Don't always hang out with people who speak your own language. Okay. Do you think a tight schedule hinders creativity? 因为目前听到几乎所有的创业都非常忙碌，即使不在工作学习，也在运动。个人经验觉得过劳会使表现变差。学弟怎么保持活力，保持 exposed to new ideas？ 有创业特质的人都是可以在过劳之下维持高生产力吗？这个是非常好的问题。我觉得这是非常好的问题。我觉得是不得不。I do think that a tight schedule hinders creativity, but I also think that 狗急跳墙 you know。Like deadlines would put you would push your boundaries and potential. 所以我觉得有创业的人可能是在过劳之下维持高生产，有的时候可能是过动了。对，好，这还有什么？对，我看一下哦。Let me take a look. What's your take on whether to study masters right after graduating or gain some other experience first? 请参考上集。How do you evaluate if an idea is worth taking risk and will have a chance to succeed, especially now AI is getting more powerful every day? Get out of the building. Talk to customers. and do market research, learn from experts, talk to professors, scholars doing AI research. Yeah, talk to people, talk to experts, talk to your customers. 想问在美国和 Stanford 年龄，这个问过了，好像差不多。想问学姐认为跟矽谷跟台湾的新创环境差别最大的地方在哪里？如果想要创业，一定要到矽谷会有更好发展吗？ I think we covered everything here in this talk today. 学姐以后会想回台湾吗？我觉得偶尔，我觉得定期回台湾很不错。对，欢迎大家找我演讲、上课。How do you develop English proficiency? 这个讲过。Is it possible to define homework clearly when you need to contact seniors or for consultation or resources? 这个 homework 是 okay, it's a metaphor. When I was talking about do your own homework, it's not about doing assignments. It's more about you have to do your own research, right? Don't let people feel like you're lazy and you're reaching out without doing any homework beforehand. 所以一个有没有新的信是可以看得出来的。对，有一些人就是说我想要问你什么什么什么，或者想要跟你聊聊。对，然后有些人他们就是会 charge some people do consulting as a job. 你就要 pay 人家，你就要you have to pay them for their service and expertise. You don't say, I did my homework. Why are you charging me consulting fee? Because it's their job. Okay, 所以我觉得这个有的时候，这一题有一点，因为你有讲到说 for consultation or resources， 有些时候你就是在问他就是你和他的关系，你们就不是朋友，或者他就不是你的 mentor。Yeah, 对，举例来说，我有一个朋友在这边 Stanford 叫 Jonathan， 就是飞来，就是我刚才有讲说他从纽约飞来参加我的 party， 他就是一个连续创业家，然后一个台裔的美国人，但是他也有在做这种 entrepreneurship 的可是1对1的 consulting， 他 charge 一个20分钟还15分钟200多块美金，20分钟，可是他常常会 check in 我，他就会说你最近怎么样，要不要还 have a call。然后他每次回来 Stanford， 我们都会去吃饭。对，可是这个关系不一样。我今天虽然 Jonathan 是我的朋友，我还是会 do my homework， 我去问他问题。可是不代表全世界任何人有做功课，写了一个文情并茂、非常用心的信，他就一定要免费帮你。OK， 我觉得这可以分2个部分。Can I just try to find what I should do after I apply for?Can I just try to find what I should do after I apply for a master's or a doctorate degree? I want to try something special, but I don't exactly decide what to do. 这个见仁见义，这就是我觉得是一个很 generic 的 question， 所以我不知道你的 context， I can't answer the question for you. Hey， 只想找老师打招呼 ，Chloe， 超级以老师为荣，老师要保重身体哦。Thank you. Chloe is my student. Thank you. OK， 学姐好，想请问 Stanford LDT 是否会期待申请者有创业经验，进而丰富课堂讨论吗？没有，他没有特别期待你要有创业经验，而且很多人都没有创业经验。请问到美国留学前要找教授有什么技巧吗？我个人没有找教授。但我知道有些人会飞来。How do you find mentors? Take classes. That's what I do. Because I take a lot of startup classes and all these mentors are industry experts. They are serial founders, investors here at the Bay Area. So taking classes. What was the hardest problem you faced? OK， 没有，慈意说时间快到了，但是谢谢 Jen 无所不答。好，我们看一下，还有这么多题目哦 ，Oh my God。OK，let's wrap up. OK， 我们可以欢迎大家写那个 office hour. So there's gonna be an office hour. There's gonna be so we're gonna invite everyone to share your experience and share your thoughts, afterthoughts about your reflection. Okay. To put it specifically, reflection. If you write a reflection and they post it on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, and C's will tell you how we're gonna run it. But for like last time we did it before, and then we had like a shoot or an office hour after the event, so we can do this again. 就是如果你们有问题的话，我们可以我可以找我们下一次我们如看报名情况，就是大家可以写心得，就是公开写心得，然后呢，我们会办一个活动。就是一个算是序，他就是讲，因为今天讲很多东西是公开的，有很多大家说什么一些就是更比较可能会有不太能够公开讲的东西，我们就没有讲。然后我们下一次也可以邀请我们这边 Stanford 的其他同学，因为现在在放假，这个礼拜放假，下个礼拜开学，所以我们下一次也可以找其他的 Stanford 的同学跟大家交流，但就是要写心得。OK， 好，然后 also if you write， 你就如果你写心得，我就认识你了，对不对？你就多一个 mentor。OK。Good deal. Okay, that's what I do. 我也会写心得写信，只是我去一些活动的时候。Okay, have you ever experienced fatigue of speaking English for a whole day, realizing only speaking mother language makes you feel relaxed? If so, how to deal with it? 我觉得比较是说 when you speak your mother language, you're talking to people that you already know for years, like your family, your closest friends. So probably it's because of the people that you're talking to that makes you feel fatigue or relaxed. So probably you just make a call to your parents or to your friends in Taiwan. How do you 这个讲过了OK
Hello, Jane.
好，我们差不多时间。
对，就像刚才娟有提到的，就是我们接下来会有续托的活动哦，然后也有看到同学有许多的提问哦。那我们会把今天的回馈的表单，以及台大的学生可能需要几点，以及如何参加之后私密聊的一个活动，都会写在信件当中，然后让大家知道。然后进一步的我们会有下一场的一个是私密的活动啊，那另外我们其实也有跟卷预约了另外一场公开的演讲的活动。那怎么样的讲题的内容，我们也还在酝酿当中。那其实这大概是从1月的时候就跟他教这个期程哦，因为上个礼拜其实是他们的一个期末考周这样子，然后也很谢谢我们在1个礼拜当中大概就快500个人报名这样子，然后紧急用 YouTube 的方式。那刚才很多的同学也提问到说这个影片会不会再做回放，我们会整理一下，然后之后会再上传。那有一个就是上个学期我们在4月份的时候有一个中文的演讲，我们也会把演讲的影片在台大演讲网上面的一个资讯一起提供给同学，很多的讯息或者是很多刚才大家提问的内容，其实都可以在上一集的卷的分享当中得到一些回馈的收获。那我们今天的活动就到这边，然后也谢谢卷跟我们一起从史丹佛跟 Discord 的NTU， 史丹佛的 Discord 跟 NTU 的 Discord 这边一起连线这样子。那谢谢卷。
OK，Thank you，拜拜。
拜拜，拜拜。